good relations with her. So we just want to recognize her and have some good thoughts on her. We have an agenda set today, and people are going to come up in order. They know the order that they're going to come in. I just want to say one thing. I interacted or got to know Althea better maybe about 6 years ago, and she shared some of her research with me in terms of Mari Evans. I really appreciated that. And once again, I think all of us have some good thoughts or some good interactions that we've had with her. So let's begin this program. People in order, please come up and
good evening, everyone. My name is Miriam Burstein. I'm the chair of the English department. And I was asked today to talk a bit about Althea's professional life here as a teacher and a scholar, including some quotations from Althea's own work. And then I'm going to go on to read a tribute to her on behalf of her family from her youngest sister, Monique. Althea came to Brockport in 2014. She soon developed an impressive range of undergraduate and graduate courses on Afro-American literature, including courses on Toni Morrison, aesthetics, hip-hop, and Black women and joy. As an instructor, Althea made a point of developing an inclusive classroom environment that offered students the opportunity to fully participate in the learning experience. She encouraged them to collaborate with each other, to pursue original research and bring it back to the classroom, and to explore alternative approaches to the classic college essay format. Students praised her as a mentor, someone who gave them a newfound passion for literature, and as by far the wisest professor I have had in my 4 years at Brockport. Her mentorship brought multiple students into the McNair program, which prepares first-generation and minoritized students for future graduate work. She became the campus's first faculty diversity fellow, and as such, developed community conversations that brought students, staff, and faculty together. In 2020, her efforts were rewarded with a Presidential Excellence in Teaching Award. Her scholarship included publications and conference presentations on Toni Morrison, Mari Evans, Rita Dove, and contemporary Afro-American children's literature. Her work was recognized by multiple invited lecturers at Harvard University, the Oklahoma Center for the Humanities, the University of Arizona, and the Children's Literature Association. She had been working on a monograph about Toni Morrison, as well as a co-edited collection on Afro-American children's literature entitled I Die Daily: Police Brutality, Black Bodies, and the Force of Children's Literature. Her scholarship is characterized by a deep passion for justice, especially for Black mothers and their children. It approaches politics as inseparable from literary form and aesthetics, finding, for example, in Rita Dove's fascination with the color pink, a space in which Black women, mothers and daughters, endure violence that interrupts their innocence. But this is also a space in which Black women engage in proactive violence in order to protect their innocence. In one of her final articles, Empathy, the probing problem we all live with, Althea sought to develop a theory of hope through empathy, through exploring narratives about Black children's expansive humanity. Comparing today's struggles for racial justice to potentially life-threatening iceberg-strewn waters, Althea writes, "We must probe ourselves in relation to the berg we face as a discipline, as a country, as a world. We must ask ourselves who are the survivors and of what storm. Black children and the communities are the souls on an industrial oil rig that rescues the survivors who have conjectured beyond their engineering, beyond their curated knowledges, and they are the survivors deemed unworthy of salvation." Althea's sister Monique writes, "I am Monique Tait, the youngest sister of Dr. Althea L. Tait. My sister was a dynamic, spirited person. She taught me to pursue your wildest dreams and set goals to accomplish them. She was great at naming her years, her cars, and names meant a lot to her. She was passionate about educating the future generations and speaking out on different issues. She was strong, beautiful, and fierce. She pulled or pushed the very best out of everyone she was around. You can only imagine the many conversations I had to have about my life plans and goals with her. She only saw the very maximum of my potential and required me to tap into it. Needless to say, I am now doing many things in her footsteps. I am now educating the future as well by teaching 8th grade English. Of course, as you know, she had ideas of many excerpts I could add to each unit or theme to increase the knowledge of my students. She was a powerful prayer warrior and believer. Whatever she put her mind to do, she did it. She has taught me through her life to dream big and live big. She taught me to experience the very finest life has to offer and never ever stop learning. I've got to know many of you, her students, when helping her grade papers during Christmas break. She would stop to speak on each student individually as we reviewed their writing. She would tell, "This student reminds me of you," or "This student is so brilliant." She believed in you all and loved you so much. She was invested in your personal affairs and your future. Know that you have an angel in the sky looking over you. We, the family, will always be here as a connection to her for you as well. I know that she is a part of your hearts as well as ours. And if there is any time you need a reminder of her or a good story to laugh at about her, call us. We have so many memories and stories, and sometimes it is just like talking to her. Thank you for honoring her life and legacy. She is truly deserving of this and much more.
Need you to pull that up. Can you just put up that one slide? So I'm just going to say a couple things about Althea, if I can. I'm not going to make it through, even though we're celebrating. But anyway, but mostly I want to play Althea's voice for you. So just bear with me, because I'm going to cry through this. I just don't have a way not to. I would play her voice first, but then I definitely won't have a way not to. So Althea was remarkable as a scholar, as a person. I really miss her. It's a thing. I know that she's actually not been here for a while. But Althea and I spent a lot of time together late at night here and at my place. She'd play my guitar and she'd sing. She plays my guitar much better than I do, and she sings and I don't sing at all. And she sifted through my drawings. I do draw, and she took some of my drawings. She chose really good drawings, so she had an eye for things, you know. But anyway, she was remarkable as a scholar, as a person. I was drawn to her curiosity, her insight, her capacity for critique, her creativity. She was sharp. She was sharpened against all sorts of stones set in her path, some of them very subtly, some of them tossed at her really hard. She asked incisive questions of every text, idea, ideology, interaction, the sort of questions that not only elegantly skim, but also cut through the surface to net meaning within and between the lines. And she conscientiously, really conscientiously, shared these questions with her students and colleagues. Her questions could be cutting. Her questions could be gentle. I think her questions and the questions that remain with her passing and with her absence are among the greatest gifts that she leaves us, along with her voice. Her embrace, her kindnesses extended to many students and faculty. Professionally, I think of the hours we spent talking through ways to attend to students' struggles with hard turns in literature and life, talking through resonances, correspondences between some of the African-American women's works and post-colonial Brazilian, Luso-African, French-Algerian works, where we each cast our literary lines of inquiry. I recall hours working together on her dossiers, sometimes late at night. And let me tell you how many paper cuts we got there. That was when we did paper. Personally, I think of her sitting on my piano bench, playing my guitar. I think of her laughing on my patio and leaping through my stacks of sketches. I think of the sketchbooks she bought for my son when he was struggling, for no reason, just like she buys sketchbooks for her nephew and all the other things she would get for her nephews. One of the pictures that she drew, one of the drawings she chose, included figures tensed against Fibonacci curves and lines of the golden section. She knew about tension. She knew about the critical and creative mind and body. She's one of the few colleagues who often crossed the threshold into my office, invited me to cross the threshold into her office, who crossed the threshold into my home. There aren't a lot of colleagues who have done that, just because we connected in some genuine ways. She was a colleague I was always glad to cross paths with. She also loved the water, just as I do. Kind of kills me how she died with water and the bridge and passing. And the first thing that I thought of when she died was this one prayer that she prayed for me. I called this reckonings and resonances because of the way in which this prayer has resonated, resounded in my mind over and over. When it was first prayed in 2018, when I was struggling with a partner who was going through, who was in hospice and going through months of dying of cancer. And she somehow, I don't even know how this happened, every so often, Althea would do weird things, like she'd be at a conference, she'd start singing while delivering a paper, and she would also just, say, "Can I pray for you?" and start singing for you, which for me, sort of broke with a lot of my, when I call this reckonings, it broke with a lot of my resistance to religious faith, given the background that I come from, which is a rather complicated background. But Althea, really restored my faith in keeping the faith, right? Keeping the faith, not necessarily with the same God, but keeping the faith with our students, keeping faith with our colleagues, keeping faith with what we do. And I want to play this prayer for you, which, again, I don't know why we recorded it. It's bizarre that we recorded it. I think maybe we recorded it because I thought I'd need it. Or maybe she thought I'd need it. So this is Althea's voice, which I think there's nothing that can really speak for Althea like Althea, right? So, did we lose it?
No, you haven't played that?
I do, and I'll just make sure that we can hear it.
It is 10:52. I'm exhausted. Yeah. So I'm going to pray for you like I talked about. Eternal always with us. Eternal always good for us. Insurance, peppermint, oh, be the peppermint, relaxing and invigorating. Lift her spirit to you. Lift her spirit to you. Lead her beside still green pastures, Lord. Bring her to still waters. Be rest, oh, and bound her to you. Feel what she needs in this moment. Past, present, and future, you're a tripartite got here. You sing over song of love that dilutes all pain. We won't ask you to explain the existential. We just ask that you carry her through the stormy weather. Calm the waves of the seas of her heart. Bring her, Lord, to the other side. 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 I guess the cares of on you all, but I know every tear shed at sea, every catch of breath in her chest. Oh Lord, every moment and between, oh Creator, Father, you see. Oh, yeah, yeah. Your name, precious Lord, that means to rescue. Oh, your name, Jesus, that means to rescue. I pray, we pray. Even though we don't understand, every pause or singing silence, we know, you hear. Be with Jim now, Lord. You hold conversations with him. Not too private to be uttered. You are there, I believe, I believe. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Hi, my name is Rachel. It's nice to hear that Dr. Tait all touched us the same way. It's just so funny because like she did the same things for me, like pulled a lot and was the first professor where I felt like things were possible for me. So she will be missed. Okay. So I'll be reading the poem Where Have You Gone by Mari Evans. Can you Hello. Oh, thank you. So I'll be reading the poem Where Have You Gone by Mari Evans. Where have you gone with your confidence? Walk with your crooked smile. Why did you leave me when you took your laughter and departed? Are you aware that with you went the sun, all light, and what few stars there were? Where have you gone with your confident walk, your crooked smile, the rent money in one pocket, and my heart in another? Thank you.
Warmest greetings to everyone in this room. We all have something in common here, and it's Dr. Tait, and it's love for Dr. Tait. I went over and over in my mind, what am I going to say? Am I going to write a poem? Am I going to pull a poem from something else? What am I going to do? Dr. Tait was so massive and took up so much beautiful, incredible, radiant space that it is very difficult to put that into words. But we all got to experience that. And for that, I'm so grateful. So I'm going to just share a little story, and then I'm going to read something that if she were standing in front of me, I would say to her. First, in Dr. Panning's class in 2018, there was an assignment, and that assignment was called Why I Write. On page 2, Dr. Tait was the reason why I write. Because I was sitting in a Black poets class as a non-traditional student, not knowing what to expect. And in walked this Black, regal woman. And I said, wow, shouldn't she be teaching at Harvard? Or maybe one of the Black historical colleges, or, right? Or, but she's here. Who is she? Is she Googleable? I'm gonna Google her when I leave here. She had on a Kango and it was jacked to the side. She had her backpack on and she walked in. Hello, class. We're gonna talk about a word. Take out a piece of paper. And we all took out a piece of paper. Write down this word. Y'all know what it was. Palimpsest. Now, take another piece of paper and put it over that. And now, take your pencil and shade it. What do you see? You see the word palimpsest, because the past bleeds through the future. So everyone that's here today, someone got you here. Always remember that. Never use your education to hurt people. You aren't better than anyone because you get a degree. Your degree gives you the influence and the platform to help people. So use it to help people. Never forget that. So here's what I would say to Dr. Tait if she were here. I Can I play this little jazz? I like kind of saying things to music. Can I press play, whoever's in charge?
That's her singing.
Oh, it's right here on YouTube? Oh,
I'll just lower it so that way it doesn't impede it for you.
okay. And you can keep it.
Yeah. There you go.
So, back to this paper that I wrote, Why I Write, for Dr. Tait. I recorded it for her on a CD and I put it in her mailbox, and it took her a while to get it because, as you know, she was a scholar and she was doing research for the one and only Toni Morrison, and she had a deadline she had to make, and she said, "Oh, Maisha, I promise I will get to it, but just give me a little bit more time." On April 23rd, 2019, hi, Maisha. Just when I was questioning why I am here and if what I do even matters, I felt compelled to listen to your CD before I left the office at 1:33 a.m. I am humbled by your piece. Can you send the stanzas as soon as possible? Thank you, Althea. P.S. I give my first lecture at Harvard on May 16th. Wish me well. My response: great afternoon, Dr. Tait. I'm so happy that the audio was a blessing for you and helped reinforce that you are a beneficial presence to your students and humanity. I've attached the document, which was our Why I Write assignment in Dr. Panning's class last semester. I wrote about you on page 2, which are the exact words I spoke on the audio. Isn't it intriguing that I mentioned Harvard and you'll be speaking there soon? I wish you unprecedented blessings. You are my muse. If I can be half as amazing as you, I would be grateful. Her response: thanks, Maisha. Just be yourself. That is gift enough, truly. Thank you for the honoring thoughts. Take care of yourself as you close the semester down. She said she wondered if what she was doing made a difference. And if she was in front of me today, here's what I would say to her. This was written by Ayanla Van Zandt. I would say, Dr. Tait, do you know how beautiful you are? Do you have any idea of the honor, the privilege, the blessing you are to behold? Beyond your color, your shape or size, beyond your gender or nationality, beyond the past, the history, your story, the mistakes and the missteps, there is a glory within you and about you that holds the essence of your true self. The real you that is beautiful beyond measure. Do you know that you are the essence of elegance, the grandeur of grace, and at the same time, you are the depths of the mysteries of love and light. You are radiant in power, glorious in presence, nobility in its truest form, divinity in action. You, Dr. Tait, are simply exquisite. To see you is to see an eachness of the allness of life. No one and no thing can deny the wealth, the magnitude of your presence, what is simply astounding. Because you are all that is required to move through this life, lacking nothing, creating all in the silence of your incredible mind. Dr. Tait had an incredible mind. Do you know? Can you even fathom how you were crafted, how you were shaped and formed with the greatest of care and depths of love, to emerge into the light of the world, to simply share who you are and what you are without pretense or defense or doubt. And when you stand as who you are, just as you are in your true being, the presence of all nature bows and prostrates itself before you in humble reverence of her smile. Your smile that transmits the fullness of your heart to all who see it, feel it, and receive the warmth of its presence. They know they have been blessed because you are here to shine, here to share, here to express your joy, here to experience your dreams. You are here to express the fullness of your true nature as a demonstration of the greatest possibility of growing nothing into something that is beyond description or destruction, because your presence is enough, because you matter, because somewhere in the depths of your soul there is light that is beckoning others to shine. Come, beloved, stand and shine and be, because you are beautiful. Dr. Tait made me believe that as a late 40-year-old, that I could be a graduate student. She made me believe in my writing. I learned how to close read because of Dr. Tait. I learned what caveat meant and palimpsest and what loving kindness looked like in human form. And so I'm thankful, and to her family who are watching and listening, deep bow and gratitude to all of you for sharing her with us. Thank you. Oh boy. Okay.
Just trying to get rid of this PowerPoint, sorry.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I didn't know what I was gonna say. Hi. It's been a minute since I've been back in Brockport. Hello, everybody. If you know me, a lot of you do, I had a rough time at this school. And my journey was so long and hard, and I took Dr. Tait's class every semester as therapy. I'm gonna be honest. Whatever class I hadn't taken that she had that semester, even if it had nothing to do with what I was trying to accomplish, I added it for my self-care. I have always been a writer. I've always been a poet, and academia made that very difficult. To be a black girl writing about black things with a black essence. And I had Dr. Tait who looked at me and saw me for every piece of who I was. It was so simple to tell her when I was struggling, when I needed help. And a few of you in the audience also were on that journey with me, and I appreciate you. But to have a Black woman call to you, I don't know if people understand that. You know how when your mentors find you, when it's a very organic connection with someone, she found me. Because I'm a very, I'm going to sit in the back, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to go home type person. But she found me, and she saw me. And she would tell me how brilliant my writing was, how much. She said to me one day, I remember it specifically, we were at a writers forum event at REOC, and I brought my mom. And I was like, you have to meet Dr. Tait. You just have to meet Dr. Tait. And I was standing with Dr. Tait and Dr. Black, and I was like, those are my two favorite professors. You have to meet them. You just have to meet them. And she goes to my mother, she says, with all the weight that your daughter carries, you would think she would create mediocre work, but she is brilliant. And I have carried those words with me through everything that I have accomplished since that day. Because we all carry weight that doesn't go away with passing days. But somebody, the worthy people, will see your brilliance through that weight, regardless. And I want to read to you all something I wrote that just seems to fit the moment, and also the dedication that I wrote to her in my next collection. This poem is called Equal Energy Transfer. It is in my first collection. Return into a light of the moon. Tiptoe onto gossamer and hide behind waterfalls. Retreat into the roots that made us whole. Whisper only to crystals that hold the secrets to creation, where mother left them at inception, and sleep on molten rock at the core. Return energy to its rightful owner, to continue its spiral in the universe and be gifted eternal life in the stars. I bestowed stardust from my pocket onto the restless brown babies who knew nothing but ocean before their mothers, and follow the rays of Oloron back home. Inside the sacred forest, the tree of life stretches to every ghetto. Blessed be the brown people of the light. Blessed be the brown people of the light. Return into a light of the moon. Lay in chartreuse pastures, collecting clouds for regeneration and imagination. Blood gives life even when shed on cement and white Nikes. Divinity lives in darkness, for light is too easy to tame. The bottom of the sea holds our secrets, though shackled and still pardoned by waves, swaddled by Olokun and regifted into the spirits of the new. Return energy to its rightful owner to continue its spiral in the universe. Thank you. And my next collection, I dedicated it to Dr. Tait. And I always say the best thing I could give anyone are my words. It is the most vulnerable part of me. And she knew that about me. She would pick them apart, and it would be so crazy because she'd just be like, okay, but what do you mean by that? Like, okay, but what does that mean to you? Dig deeper, Jordan, dig deeper. And I'll be like, I don't know how much deeper I can go. And then I would find it, you know? And I credit my hunger to be a better writer, to still study and learn poetry and Black literature, young, old, and new, to Dr. Tait. But my dedication is to my dearest professor and mentor, Dr. Althea Tait. You were gone from us too soon. Thank you for inspiring me to be fearless with my writing at all times, even in the wake of your passing. Your words still ring in my head, what I already told you. Thank you for your light, your candidness, your brilliance, and your smile. I hope to share this collection with you on the next plane. When I got the news, I broke down and I was crying, and then I went to the bar. I went to the bar and I sat outside and I just had a little margarita, and this lady walked up and she said that her best friend had just passed away. Yeah, true story. And I said to her, I'm grieving and I'm sad and I'm upset, but do you know the one feeling that I feel more than any of that? I feel grateful. I feel grateful that she saw me. I feel grateful that she took time to know who I was as a person, and grateful to ever been in her presence to learn from her. That is the overwhelming feeling I feel right now. I think it's great gratefulness to meet such a gem, and there are a lot of gems in Brockport, but to know such a gem and to have a personal connection is probably one of the best gifts I've ever received here. So, yeah, thank you for letting me speak. I don't know how this goes, but...
I am going to read a tribute from Althea Johnson, a former student of Dr. Althea Tait's. So these are Althea's words. Dr. Tait was not just a professor, but an inspiration, a mentor, and a guiding light for so many of us. I had the privilege of meeting her during my freshman year, and her impact on my life has been immeasurable. As a wide-eyed freshman, I was convinced that I wanted to major in psychology. I had my mind set on it until I registered for Dr. Tait's introductory course on African American literature. Little did I know that this encounter would forever change the course of my academic journey. Dr. Tait's knowledge and passion for the subject were truly inspiring. Her teachings went far beyond the pages of books. Her class allowed me to connect with my culture, with my history, and with those who came before me. She opened my eyes to the rich and nuanced texts of African American literature and experiences, and I was captivated. But Dr. Tait was more than just a professor. She became an informal mentor and a guiding force in my life. She had a remarkable way of pushing me academically, always encouraging me to strive for excellence. Her advice extended beyond the classroom, as she offered guidance on personal matters, showing genuine care and concern for not only me, but all of her students. It was her support and belief in me that led me to make one of the best decisions of my collegiate journey, declaring African and African American studies as my major. Dr. Tait exuded a warm and positive aura that enveloped everyone who had the privilege of knowing her. She was soft-spoken, yet her presence commanded attention and respect. She was a powerful woman and a role model for us all. Her mere presence ignited a desire in me to strive for excellence in all areas of life, and it was her influence that propelled me to use my voice as a tool for social justice throughout my time at Brockport. Dr. Tait's legacy is imprinted on the hearts and minds of all her students. Her impact goes beyond the classroom. It extends into the lives of every individual she touched. Her teachings have left an indelible mark on me and the many students she inspired. I am forever grateful for the wisdom, guidance, and inspiration she shared with us. To Dr. Tait's family, friends, and loved ones, I offer our deepest condolences. While we mourn her passing, I hope we can take solace in knowing that her legacy will live on. The knowledge she imparted, the inspiration she ignited, and the positive change she brought to countless lives will forever be a testament to her greatness. She lives on in my heart, and I am forever grateful for her. And again, that was from Althea Johnson.
Hey everybody, I'm Jim Wharton. I teach in the English department, and I was a friend of Althea's. I'm really glad to see some of y'all here that I haven't seen in a long time. This is a hard time to get together, and this is happening, shouldn't be happening right now. It's a hard thing to talk about. It's a hard thing to make sense of. At the same time, what I wrote down in my notes here is something that Jordan just said. I have this feeling too that I was, as shattering as it was, and it is to lose her, I'm so glad to have had her as we did, and I feel happy when I think about Althea Tait. I want to hurry to point out that there's a lot of reasons not to be glad. And I read the newspaper every morning, like a lot of y'all do. I read the news this morning. It was all terrible, okay? Everything I read in the newspaper was terrible this morning. So when I say that I feel happy thinking about her, I don't mean a lightweight kind of easy breezy kind of happiness. She gave me something really good that I'm going to hold on to. And I don't know if I can really get this across. The best example I could think of is when I first met her, and a couple of y'all, Milo and Jennifer, were there too in it was January of 2014 at the Modern Language Association conference in Chicago. I was on a committee, a search committee, so we were interviewing for 2 faculty positions. We did 20 interviews in a hotel room. It was the Embassy Suites. So for 3 days, we sat in this hotel room for 8 to 9 hours at a stretch, meeting people, and they were all really smart and very accomplished scholars. It's a high-stress situation for people looking for tenure-track jobs because everybody's in their best clothes that they never wear. Everybody's nervous, either running late or had too much coffee, anxious, trying to make a good impression. It's not fun. Althea was immediately different from everyone we met that weekend. And the best way I know to describe it was her warmth, her laughter, her smile. She had so many interests. One of the things they train you to do in an MLA job interview is come in, talk about your dissertation, be focused, boom, 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 this is what I do. She was so curious about us. She wrote poems. She was unforgettable. Seems like it ought to be the easiest thing in the world for a person to connect with other people, but apparently it's not. It's not the commonest thing. Because we get into formal situations like those interviews, we get in our boxes, and it takes I don't know if it's a talent that she had or just the willingness to break out of that box and connect with another person. And Sharon mentioned this, but she did the most radical, unexpected, inappropriate thing, which is sometimes she would just start singing. Who does that? I don't know anybody else who does that. But it just would tear the room apart when she'd do that. And so that's the kind of thing that makes me happy, and I want to hold on to as an example that I can continue to learn from Althea Tait, because I'm in a box all the time, and so many of us are, but it's always possible. Sometimes it's possible to just connect through warmth in a human way. And I also want to add my thanks to her family, those of y'all who came up here to connect with us. That meant a lot. And we'll remember her.
Good evening, and thank you all for coming to celebrate Dr. Tait's life, Althea's life. I'm so honored that we have this room with you all here. So as we kind of wind down the program, I also want to give those who haven't had a chance but would like to share an opportunity to come forward. And I know Dr. Tom would like to do that, so I'd like you to come first, and then anyone after that, just feel free, and then we'll go into our acknowledgments, and we have a special modern dance after that.
Well, I'm going to be quick. As quick as I can be. I'm listening to y'all talking about Althea, and everything you said was true. When I walked in and I didn't see any music, I was like, okay, this is not Althea. Because Althea's going to start singing no matter what. I'm going to explain a little bit about that, because I come from the African American church, and so did Althea. In the African American church, we don't always say our prayers, we sing them a lot. So that seems strange to some of you, but it's not strange to me. Because my grandmother would do that, my mother would do that, and I would do that. Also, when we want to redirect things, somebody would start singing a song, and you redirect the things in the room to make it go the way you want it to go. So, people breaking that into song, that totally made sense to me. What did make sense to me is that I got those lines drawn in my life. So, I say, okay, I'm down here with the white folks, so I'm not going to do that. Althea's, her life bled into every area of her life. So she didn't care about y'all being white. She didn't care about y'all not understanding the church. She was just going to be Althea 112% of the time. The thing that I did not know that I learned today, well, after she passed, that she was younger than I am. And I have deference for people who are older than I am. And I was just thinking, if I get to the other side in heaven, I find her, I'm gonna get her. Because she would scold me. And I let her scold me because I thought that was my big sis. I was born in 75. She was born in 76. So she got some answering to do for all that scolding she did to me. But she was so meticulous with everything. We were on a subcommittee and working on something for the caucus at Black faculty and staff. And I said to myself, what was I thinking getting on the subcommittee with Althea? with any English professor to draft a document because it never was good enough for her. She called me. You guys know I got stuck in Senegal. She called me on the other side of the water and was telling me all the things that was wrong with the document. And I'm saying, okay, Althea. She said, no, we got to go through it one more time. I let all that pass because I thought she was older than me. I wanted to say, look, girl, this is done. Now let's move on. She probably would have insisted on it anyway. But I am glad that I'm here, and I'm glad that I knew her. There's a weight that I have to carry, and I was discussing with Dr. Turner. I had an urge to call her all throughout May, all throughout June. And I didn't. And I said, you know, I've been in contact with first Jennifer Haytak and then Miriam about Althea coming back. I said, I'll see you in the fall. And then I got the news. I said, this is why I had the urge to call her. That means something. In the church where we said the Holy Ghost is telling me to call, the Spirit telling me to call Althea, I didn't call Althea. Why didn't I call Althea? That the last time we spoke, she was scolding me. And I didn't want it to end like that. But that's what happened. Anyway, because she and I believe the same thing, I know on the other side I'm going to see her. And it's going to be a reckoning. She probably get on to me about not calling. And I'll get on to her about scolding me when she shouldn't have been. But yeah, I'm glad for this time to speak on her life. And I'm glad that I knew her. In the black church, y'all say, amen. Amen. Something. Y'all too quiet up in here.
Hello. I'm Wendy Prince, I'm one of the librarians here on campus. Whenever Althea came to the library, she was sweet. She always had a few minutes to talk. And one day she came in and she was her blustery self, and she talked about how she got things done this weekend, and thank goodness she's got things done because she's got more than enough to do. And when she was listing off the things she had done this weekend, it included the fact she finally got the workmen into her apartment to put the chandelier into her bedroom. So I naively asked, "You have a chandelier?" Which led to a short but very firm lecture about how your home is your sanctuary, and to enjoy life, you need to respect your sanctuary. So now I still think that as a standard in life. I don't have a chandelier in my bedroom yet, but that is a standard I strive for, a chandelier in my bedroom. And I really appreciate her for giving me that. And thank you for listening.
Sometimes you just gotta let stuff sit. Please do.
Hi, I'm Bob from the English department, and I didn't know Althea as well as many of you, and so I was somewhat reluctant to come up and speak, but I really miss her. And I just wanted to briefly say, I think a word that I haven't heard used yet to describe her, but of course was kind of implicit in everything that everyone was saying, and that's generosity. And my small example is as the composition coordinator running the freshman writing program, when Althea would teach freshman writing, she would often pop in and share with me concerns about students from her class. And she, as you know, was so concerned about the well-being, the overall well-being of everyone in her class. But interestingly, she would often ask about me and how my classes were going. and about my own well-being in teaching. And this wasn't something that many instructors would do for me as the comm coordinator. And I just remember that generosity. She even coached me. I was teaching The Bluest Eye a couple semesters in my comp, which is, a tough text to get to wrap your head around. And she kind of mentored me and coached me through that. And so I'm grateful for the few interactions that I had with her. And so maybe I'm up here speaking for those people, many of whom aren't even here, who nevertheless didn't know her as well, but knew her enough to get a glimpse of what you all have been speaking so eloquently about. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, it is my job right now to just say thank you to each and every one of you for being here this evening, for honoring and celebrating Althea's life. As you can tell, it was remarkable. And the fact that we can be grateful and cherish and her being gone is such a blessing. So I just want to say again, thank you all for being here. I also want to just say thank you to the following departments for working alongside, because I know when we got the news this summer, and I got calls from a few people in the room and said, we must do something on campus. And I was like, okay, here we go. So, Maisha and Jordan. But I want to say thank you to the English department, History, Women and Gender Studies, African American Studies, for your generosity and work with us on this. I want to thank the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs and for all the alum participating, for Althea's family who is joining us online. I really want to thank the family and friends of Dr. Tait, Althea, and just really thank us for this moment together, because it is a remarkable moment. And I thank you all for being here. And as I call our wonderful alum, Will Dillard Jackson, up, who will do a modern dance closing for us, I encourage you to join us afterwards for a few refreshments in the hallway. So with that, let's roll. Can you?
Hello. I wasn't able to meet Dr. Tait through academia. I met her as an organizer and an activist on campus. One summer, me and a colleague spent a lot of time just like trying to get our org together and meeting with like various faculty about like how do we show up and how do we do the work. And I remember on our very second meeting, I walked in very performative and very like code switchy, ready to do the thing and not show up as myself. And I did like a fake laugh. And she stopped me in the most gentle way. And she said, be yourself. You don't have to show up as who you think I need you to be. Just show up and do what you need to do. And I was like, okay, bet. I took that in and I kept running. And then a couple weeks later, right before the semester started, I was a dance major on campus. And we were having a conversation about Black art. And a lot of my work revolved around being Black and how it feels to be a Black man in America. And I kept saying to her, I don't want to be labeled as a Black artist. I just want to be an artist. And she said, but you're Black. Everything you do will emanate from a Black space. So you can't try to erase that for everybody else. Be you. And she's always instilled in those 3 months that I got to know her, showing up as your most authentic and perseverant self. And it's wild that I can meet someone for 3 months and for them to always make an impact on everything I create and everything that I do and how I show up in any space. So the piece that I've created today, it's called Silence, because it speaks to the silent killer that she was, in terms of like she wasn't loud, she wasn't boisterous, but she walked around with so much power and so much authority in her silence. So thank you, Dr. Tait.
One
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming and to join us in the hall for refreshments.